Title: Why Some People Can't Enjoy Vacations. The psychology will surprise you. Everyone says relax, but your brain won't shut off. You're sitting on a perfect beach, or in a cozy cabin, or at some expensive resort, and instead of feeling peaceful, you feel anxious, restless, like you're wasting time. While everyone else is blissfully lounging, you're mentally planning tomorrow, worrying about work, or feeling guilty for not being productive. People think you're a workaholic or control freak who can't let go. But according to psychology, your inability to relax might reveal something profound about how your brain processes safety, productivity, and self-worth. And understanding why rest feels impossible might actually help you find a different kind of peace. Let's start with what's actually happening in your brain when you try to relax on vacation. For most people, leisure activities trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that lowers heart rate and promotes calm. But some brains interpret downtime as potential danger, keeping the sympathetic nervous system activated in fight or flight mode. Psychology calls this relaxation-induced anxiety. When external demands disappear, your mind fills the space with internal demands. Without the structure of work or daily responsibilities, your brain starts creating its own emergencies to justify staying alert and engaged. There's this psychological concept called productivity guilt that affects certain personality types more intensely. Your brain has learned to associate your value with your output. When you're not producing anything measurable, no completed tasks, no progress toward goals, you feel like you're failing at being human. Research from Dr. Brené Brown shows that people who struggle with rest often have deep-seated beliefs that their worth is conditional on their usefulness. They've internalized the message that they only deserve love, respect, or resources when they're contributing something valuable. Sitting still feels like stealing. And here's what's fascinating about the psychology of people who can't enjoy vacations. They often have what researchers call hypervigilant attachment styles. Their nervous system learned early that safety requires constant monitoring and preparation. Relaxing feels dangerous because letting your guard down historically meant bad things could happen. For many vacation-struggling people, rest wasn't modeled in childhood. They grew up in families where adults were always busy, always stressed, always working. They learned that good people don't waste time, that productivity equals virtue, that relaxation is selfish or lazy. Those neural pathways don't disappear just because you bought a plane ticket. There's also this thing called cognitive overarousal that makes traditional relaxation techniques backfire. When you try to clear your mind or be present, your thoughts actually get louder and more intrusive. The harder you try to relax, the more anxious you become about not relaxing correctly. Psychology shows that some people need what's called active rest instead of passive rest. Their brains relax through engagement rather than disengagement. They feel peaceful while hiking, learning something new, or working on creative projects, activities that look like work to others but actually provide the mental reset they need. And let's talk about what vacation anxiety often reveals about your relationship with control. People who can't enjoy downtime often feel safest when they're managing variables, solving problems, or moving toward objectives. Vacation strips away that sense of agency and leaves them feeling vulnerable and directionless. Here's something that might blow your mind. Research from Stanford shows that people who struggle with vacation relaxation often have exceptionally active default mode networks in their brains. The neural circuits that activate during rest are actually more active than in people who relax easily. Your brain literally doesn't know how to idle. There's a psychological pattern called destination addiction, where people believe they'll be able to relax once they reach some perfect circumstance, the right vacation spot, the right amount of money saved, the right level of work completion. But the inability to rest isn't about external conditions. It's about internal wiring. And here's where it gets really interesting. People who can't enjoy traditional vacations often have incredibly rich and complex inner worlds. Their minds are constantly processing, creating, analyzing, connecting ideas. What looks like anxiety to others might actually be high-level cognitive functioning that doesn't easily switch off. Psychology also reveals that some people relax through what appears to be work to others. They find peace in organizing, researching, creating, building, or learning. Their version of vacation might be tackling a home project, diving deep into a hobby, or exploring a new city with detailed planning rather than lounging by a pool. But there's something deeper happening here that explains why rest feels impossible. Many people who struggle with vacations have what psychologists call earned security. They've learned to feel safe through achievement and productivity rather than through external support or inherent worth. Research shows that for these personality types, the key isn't learning to be less productive. It's learning to redefine what productive rest looks like. Maybe your brain relaxes while reading complex books, taking photography walks, or planning future projects. That's not failing at vacation. That's understanding your nervous system. And let's be honest about what our culture teaches about rest and productivity. We live in a society that glorifies being busy while simultaneously shaming people who can't instantly switch into relaxation mode. The same culture that creates productivity anxiety then tells people they're broken for having productivity anxiety. There's also this thing called anticipatory anxiety that ruins vacations before they start. You spend weeks worrying about the work you're leaving behind, the work you'll return to, and the money you're spending on something that doesn't feel naturally rewarding. By the time vacation arrives, you're more stressed than when you started. Psychology shows that people who can't enjoy traditional relaxation often benefit from what's called structured downtime, planned activities that feel purposeful but aren't work-related. Learning a new skill, exploring historical sites, or engaging in physical challenges that provide clear goals and measurable progress. Here's what vacation-struggling people often don't realize. You might not be bad at relaxing. You might just be relaxing in a way that doesn't look like relaxation to other people. If you feel peaceful while researching your next trip, organizing your photos, or learning about the local culture, that is your form of rest. And there's something beautiful about brains that need engagement to feel safe. While others are checking out, you're checking in with yourself, with new environments, with learning opportunities. You're not missing out on relaxation. You're redefining what restoration means for your particular nervous system. But here's the part that's important for your well-being. Chronic inability to rest can lead to burnout, health issues, and relationship problems. The goal isn't to force yourself into someone else's relaxation style. It's to find sustainable ways to give your mind the reset it needs. Some people relax on beaches, others relax in libraries, workshops, hiking trails, or their own living rooms working on passion projects. Neither is superior, they're just different nervous system requirements for the same basic human need for restoration. So the next time someone tells you to just relax and you can't, remember this: your brain isn't broken. It's just wired for engagement rather than disengagement. And finding your own version of rest, even if it looks like productivity to others, is perfectly valid. You're not failing at vacation. You're succeeding at understanding what your mind actually needs to feel restored. And honestly, that self-knowledge might be more valuable than any traditional relaxation technique anyway. Do you struggle to enjoy traditional vacations, or do you have your own ways of finding rest? What helps your mind actually relax? Let me know, because I suspect there are a lot more people out there who need active rest than our beach vacation culture might suggest. To get more psychology content like this in your feed, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share your experiences with us. You'll be supporting our efforts too. Thanks for watching.